All right, this is an exciting one because today I had the privilege to chat with Kieran, who is an Algorand developer, founder of CompX, who is mainly on Algorand, which is a different chain from Aptos. Now, Kieran brings a different perspective from an external view who's not really mainly building on Aptos, but has tried Aptos recently with the Global Hackathon and has created a project called Waypoint. Kieran shares his insights on Aptos Move, what it feels like as a developer, some challenges that he faced, and also what he likes about the developer experience on Aptos. So this is an interesting one, so I hope you like the show. I think you're in a very unique position to provide a lot of insight for people and for us as well, because you, I would still say I would say you are an Algorand developer. When we launched our global hackathon, and that was an opportunity for you to just try out Move and see what Aptos is doing. What was your first impression of Aptos in general in terms of tech and also the Move smart contract language?
I think in terms of Aptos with tech, it seemed comparable to all the current wave of blockchains. I think for me as a developer, I don't necessarily look at things like block times, but important things for me are, native assets, no EVM. I'm not going to build an EVM. I think when you see stuff that's been audited for 10 years and it still gets hacked, what are we doing? What are we trying to do here?
Yeah.
So I'd rather be on another chain entirely. So the MVM, like the Move language, seemed like a good place to go. I think with the Move, the language, I was like, initially I looked at it and went, this is awful. What is this? What is this language? Because it's Rust
Yeah.
based and it's just like colons everywhere. And I'm like, no language
Oh
needs this
yeah.
many. No language needs this kind of syntax. But anyway, kind of got over my fears with the syntax. And for me, I can only learn by doing stuff. So I didn't even read the docs much.
Mm.
So I jumped right in because I knew we wanted to build our project Waypoint, a payment
Yeah.
scheduling app. So it's okay, let's jump in, get GPT Codex by my side to see how can we do this. After having looked at the differences we would have to do between the contracts that I currently know at a time and Move, and there's some unique features with Move that would just make things so much simpler to do.
Really?
There's good things on both sides, but like
Of
how
course.
Aptos Move has distilled commonly used things down to one line of code is really nice. And because of the kind of object model, you've got like we made a struct. I'll talk about the kind of technicalities. We got a struct which represents a payment route, which is like one payment over time. So each one is its own struct, its own object that's created. And having the escrow in there, like the actual escrow account, I didn't have to do anything, basically. I didn't have to
Yeah.
like do any crazy stuff to make that and then give it access to certain things. It just worked, which was just so easy. Um, and then there's an init function that
In a
gets,
module?
yeah, gets called automatically.
Yeah.
I was like, that's genius. This is great because it's one less transaction for the user having to sign. Because like
Yeah.
with the comparable contracts, as I said, like it has to initialize the application and then no, it has to create the application and then initialize it because you can't do both at the same time because you don't know what the address of the app is. You have to do that and then you have to create your route. So it's three transactions on Algorand rather than one on Aptos. And I didn't have to think about storage at
Mhm.
any point. I didn't have to think, oh, how am I going to store this by doing it?
Yeah.
Because on our other contracts on Algorand, I have to think about storage and what storage am I going to use? Is it a box? Is it global? Is it local? Like it has a
Mm.
registry app. There's another contract that's like the registry, which holds all the routes. So, there's all that complexity was like just gone with Move. So that was great. And that makes things so much simpler. But you only realize that once you build it and you go, oh, wait a minute, that's much easier.
Right.
I think I think one thing that I found difficult was the developer ecosystem, and this is because I didn't know where to find the stuff. I think I brought up that there feels like there's multiple jumping off points for Aptos development with smart contracts specifically. It'd be nice if there was just like,
Yeah.
are you building this? Press this big button, and we'll show you the things you need to know.
And we should
But
make it big too. Build the entire screen. Start
yeah,
here.
start here. This is where you want to start.
Yeah.
That's just everywhere. So yeah, that was one of the things. But like I said this in my assembly, I was having a chat with guy Darren, who was one of the like mentors for the second stage. He explained the difference, and I was like, the Aptos contracts are half the size of the Algorand ones. It's much more efficient in terms of the writing of it, but just in terms of writing it, it's a lot more condensed and simpler to do. Like sending send these tokens from this wallet to this wallet. It's a one liner. It's a one
Yeah.
liner. Whereas on Algo and other ecosystems, I'm not just doing that. There's a few things to go through. You have to make the transactions. You have to specify a bunch of things. This is just a function call. You just say, "Hey, send that." This is where you
Yeah.
should be.
I think that's really the strength of Move here because when I first learned about Move, they said that Move is a very modular and composable language. The way Move is designed is everything is a Move module. So every function, every type that you use in your contract is another Move module that is deployed somewhere else. So Move was first started like back in Facebook, right? The Libra DM days. So they only had this one library called standard library, and that contains all of the basic functionalities of Move. And then on top of that, all these different chains that use Move as their smart contract language started adding frameworks on top of it. What's interesting is you can just add more layers to it so
Mm-hmm.
easily because at the end of the day, you're just going to be creating another Move module and then just adding it. So you brought up like transferring a fungible asset is a one-liner. That's a function defined inside of another public Move module that has a lot of lines of code, right? So if Move wasn't designed in this modular way, that couple lines of code would be something you as a developer would have to write.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's so easy to add layers on top of it and add these helper functions that make all these things one-liner, I think that's what makes provides a good developer experience. And also you can add helper functions as well, right?
Yeah.
If you find yourself needing some kind of a function for all of your contracts, you can just create a public function inside of a Move module, deploy it, and then publish it and let other people use it too. And you can be like, hey, I created this helper function. I realize that I'm using this a lot. Feel free to use it, making everything composable and modular,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool to me.
Yeah, because it moves it from that kind of siloed kind of world where you have to build,
Yeah.
at the metal and you're having to build all these things yourself to
Yeah.
more of that kind of modern language. This is much more usable and I can keep building on this rather than here we go with a new smart contract. Let me build all the things again. I be asking a dumb question, but is there a Aptos Move version of NPM? Like the website where you can go and view all the packages and the helpers that people have built in all the modules?
That's a good question.
Because that would
I
be
don't know
great.
if you do.
If
Maybe
it was like
that would be great.
that,
That would be great.
maybe we should build that. There's a thing. Let's go build that. I think that would take it to the next level. So it is like NPM. And you'd be able to like search and find, and you'd have versioning and all that jazz. I don't think I've said this. I have an impression is that Aptos Labs seems to build everything. It's that like I get there's bootstrapping to be done and all that kind of stuff, but with things like I think something like Decibel, it does make me come in as a developer and go, "Will I bother?" They've already built it. They already built, and obviously they've got un- unlimited resources respectively to me. So why would I try and build a perp dex when they've already got one? I think, and this may go against the grain, I think giving Decibel itself as a thing, its own UI, and its own making it a product is a mistake because What you want to do is say, here's Decibel, the API, the framework, the layer, go build on it. Rather, because even if you get a bunch of people like me coming in and building the same thing, like here's an interface for Decibel that has our UI and gives you X, Y, and Z, does some other things differently. People are always going to go to the one that's made by apps. I think it should be a framework thing and let other people build it.
It's a very good point, right? And I partially agree. But here's my take on this. I think it's not just Aptos that's doing this anymore. It's actually becoming an industry trend
I've noticed,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
chain themselves to build in-house products.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking, why is that happening? Right? Because you're so right. Like blockchain, like the chain providers that creates these blockchains are creating the infrastructure and APIs and languages that developers outside can use to build their own things, right? And this is how Ethereum grew too, right? Ethereum didn't build any in-house products when they first launched. I think the challenge here is that these new chains that come into play, they need to bootstrap their ecosystem because if they don't, then they just die out. And you can't expect these new chains to grow like Ethereum did. It's a different time. So I think the reason why all these chains are building and in-house products, and also why Aptos is doing it, is that if we want to empower and support the builders that are in our ecosystem, first the chain needs to survive. The chain needs to thrive. The chain needs to be talked about. The chain can't be forgotten by people because no one's going to come build on it. I think if these in-house products become successful, I think it will grow the pie and allow us to support more builders and allow builders to build in an ecosystem that is thriving rather than forgotten about. So I think there needs to be a fine balance there. If
Mm-hmm.
the chain starts building everything, if someone comes in and builds a cool product and every single time the internal teams,
Yeah,
oh, that's
yeah,
cool, I'm gonna
yeah,
build it, that's a problem,
yeah.
right? Because that's killing every single opportunity for anyone to grow and become successful, which is obviously not what Aptos Labs and Aptos Foundation wants,
Obvious,
right?
yeah.
We want everyone, yeah, we want people who come build stuff to be successful, to be recognized and win. But I think these in-house products, these handful of them, when they launch, and if they do manage to capture mindshare, to bring attraction to the chain, I believe that will help spill over that traffic to the other projects that exist on Aptons.
We're in Argentina for Dev Connect. The chat I had was like, let's take things to the next level. For you guys, you have to go out and raise cash, do the VC thing. I just told them point blank, I was like, I got into this working for myself game to not do things I didn't want to do. I'm not going to do that. So then they pivoted and they were like, all right, okay, I need this and this bit. And I was like, now you're talking my language. Now you're talking the way I want to talk. Tell me what you need. It goes the same for Aptos as well. If you guys are like, we could really do with this, just let me know because I like building stuff.
Going back to the whole like funding projects that come to build on the chain, as a dev world, this area is always such a heartbreaking thing for me. And it really is, Kieran. Whenever I help developers out, and they're so excited, they build stuff and they ship products, which is amazing to see. But it's all fun and games until the reality kicks in,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's building something because at the end of the day, they got to make a living. And I know that, I understand that. And as a DevRel, developer support contains a lot of things, but I also want to help developers win, right? Whatever products they get, I want to help as much as possible to bring attention to the product. But there's limitations to what I can do. I'm not Jerry Tan from YC. I don't know what makes a successful business. And this is where ecosystem team is more of a professional. And I'm really happy here at Aptos that the ecosystem team here are super open to working closely with DevRel. I can provide the technical support. I can create learning resources, video tutorials, code examples, improve the SDKs and the tools, but I can't help founders figure out PMF or a business model or a revenue model. But that is also an important component of developer support, right? Because no developer is going to stick around if they can't make money on the chain. Like they got to be successful. And this is where our ecosystem team is amazing at. They have professionals who understand these kind of terms and languages. So obviously we're not perfect. We have a lot of work to do, but I'm just excited for the fact that when I find quality developers, I have somewhere to send them to, right? And this team is working like laser focused on solving that problem. And this is never a fun realm because unfortunately in the startup world, most are not successful. That's just how it is, right? But we got to keep pushing it for that 1%, that 5% of the founders and teams that are going to make it. So we have to, and we're going to get a lot of hate because that 90% of projects that fail, unfortunately, will blame us for their lack of success.
Yeah,
It's just fine.
It's difficult to point out to certain people that we could have given you $1 million. This wouldn't work.
Yeah.
This is fundamentally your idea. Good. Does not work. Here.
Yeah. It's never a fun conversation.
Yeah.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. And we're no longer in 2020 where we're just going to give you $1 million because you have a cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Love the slide deck. Here you go. Type thing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for those days.
Yeah. Yeah. Those days are gone. So obviously this puts everyone in a more difficult position, right? It's harder to get funding and monetary support from foundations and labs. And it forces founders to be more, how do I say it? They got to bring a better game to be successful. And maybe it is a good thing. We're forcing people to bring higher quality products and ideas.
I think it is a good thing. I think it is. And the teams in Aptos Assembly were good. Were really good. It'd be good to see the teams that got through to the next part. Unfortunately, we did not. But that's fair. I think the PMF for Waypoint is like you need like tons of scale. Waypoint is a success in our eyes because it got us on Aptos. It got us a lot of experience with it. We got to go through those programs. We got to meet the people there. So I'm happy with how things turned out. We will still be working on it. It's not because we didn't finish assembly that we're not going to do Aptos anymore. No, we're here to stay. We're here to stay. I'm looking forward to coming up with some like standalone, because right now all of our products are either Algorand or Algorand and Aptos. Actually, Waypoint is Aptos and Algorand, to be fair. But something that is Aptos only, which might be something that could be built off the back of Decibel, because it can only be done on Aptos. That's what you want. You want something that can't do this anywhere else, because this is the only place that can support an application like this. Yeah.
I'd love to, if you ever decide to build another product on Aptos, I think one thing that Aptos has done really is to create a suite of developer tools that let you build a Web 2 experience. We have gas station from Xiaomi that lets you sponsor gas fees. So users are never paying gas. And gas is extremely cheap on Aptos. So I think it can make it work. And building something like that and targeting users just outside of Web3 is, I think, an advantage that Aptos provides to developers. Creating that Web 2-like experience and being able to target just normal non-Web3 users.
That was actually one of the things that I've said this to a few people on Algorand. Like the use wallet library on Aptos includes Aptos Connect, which is a game changer. Yeah, so Waypoint has that. You can log in with Google or Apple, and you're like, there you go. And yeah, it's on my roadmap for Waypoint to put the gasless transactions in. And there was the thing you pointed out to me was like the event-driven transactions so that we don't have to have people
Right.
come claim. They can just send them their payout stuff, which, and the event driven ones, like the way that it's done, I can't do on Algorand. I can't do on other places that we would build.
On the final note, tell us two things. One, how can people who are watching this video follow you and your project, what you're doing? And two, if there's one piece of advice that you can give to a developer who haven't tried out Aptos yet and are stuck in that fear of the double colons of move, if there's one thing that you would like to tell those type of people, if you could share anything.
Yeah. So first thing, if you want to follow us, follow me. We're on X at CompX Labs. You can follow me at xld1. That's the number one. And you can check out our Aptos app, Waypoint, waypoint.compx.io. And if you go to compx.io on its own, you'll find all the rest of them, the whole ecosystem there. And in terms of advice for anyone coming to, any new developers coming to Aptos, this may not work for everyone, but I would say just dive in. Spin up your favorite AI agent, because for some reason, I don't know how it's been done. I tried asking Greg, he didn't know, but somehow Aptos Move works really well with Codex. So you can spin it up and give it a go. But like you said, Aptos has all these tools to make it a Web 2 experience for Web 3. Don't worry about the on-chain side of things. If you have an idea of a thing you want to build, don't build this first. Go build the UI first. Go build the fun bit first. Because the actual blockchain interaction with Aptos is actually fairly simple. Like, you can put it all together relatively easily and then hook it up later. So focus on your idea. Go that way first, because Aptos has all the tools to make it work easily for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kieran, for hopping on this call.
No worries.
And maybe we'll do more. Maybe we'll do more. I love hearing your insights as like someone who's mainly building on another chain and trying out Aptos. And you gave us some valuable feedback too, which I'm like the NPM registry.
I didn't realize that was how it was architected, because I thought a lot of the standard library and all like the includes and stuff were very specific, like internal things that were like, oh, this is from the SDK, or this is like the API. But if that's no, you can just have any public thing. Yeah, let's get a registry. Let's make it something nice and lightweight. Little website, search, drop downs, all the things. Just copy npm.npm.js from Move modules. Let's do that as a thing.
Yeah.
Because that would be super cool. Because saying that to developers is, it works just like NPM. Like, there's all these helper functions, you barely have to build anything. You can do all this stuff.
You're right.
That is really compelling. That's really cool. Because then it sets it apart from all the others. You say, well, actually, there's a whole ecosystem of developers and open source stuff that you can do, and then you need to make a dApp that uses only exported stuff. So it's like every line is just a function from another Move module that you've used from the registry, and it works perfectly. That's what you need to do.
That would be cool. That'd be cool.
All right, I'm going to work on some designs on how this will work, and I'll need to do some reading about how we get all the Move modules that are out there in the whole world, and I'll let you know. We'll come back on that.